We have one or two?
We got the white case and the brown case.
Okay.
Yeah, white and brown.
Okay. All colors cases today?
Yeah.
White, brown?
Yeah, white, brown, green.
I just let someone in with the phone number ending in 9427. What is your name?
Corey Brown.
Oh, sorry about Mr. Brown. I inadvertently terminated the last Zoom session, so I ended up kicking everyone out.
Okay, no problem.
All right, let me see who else is waiting here.
You still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, this is a matter of Brown versus Brown. Present are Corey Brown and Elizabeth Brown. We are here on a violation hearing for a personal protection order. This matter was originally scheduled. Oh, let me see. Trying to figure out when it was. Well, anyway, the last time you were up, the only person that appeared was a person from the prosecutor's office who would represent the interest of Ms. Brown. And Mr. Brown, I believe when I arraigned you, you requested appointment of an attorney. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, now I've got you two here, but I don't have any attorneys present. I'm not quite sure what happened, but let me see if I can find out. Give me just a second.
Are you there, Elizabeth? You hear me?
Mr. Brown, don't direct any communication to her.
Oh, okay.
All right. It was supposed to have been set for December 10th. I don't know what happened. Apparently the only person that, other than the court, that, well, actually it doesn't even look like it was on the court's docket. Let's see. Oh, I see the problem. Mr. Brown, when you were in jail, you were supposed to fill out paperwork requesting a court-appointed attorney. Do you remember doing that?
I'm not exactly sure.
Well, if you did, the people from the jail never forwarded it over to us, so an attorney never got appointed. So if you wait just a moment, I'm going to take the information now over the phone. We'll get an attorney appointed. We'll reschedule this for another date at which both of you will be represented by counsel. But before I do that, Ms. Brown, do you wish to move forward with the contempt hearing for Mr. Brown?
What does that mean?
Well, he was arrested under conditions that violated the terms of the personal protection order. When you violate a personal protection order, you're subject to penalties for contempt of court, which can include up to 90 days in jail and I think up to a fine of up to $500. So the purpose of a contempt hearing is for me to determine, first of all, did Mr. Brown violate the personal protection order? And secondly, what should the penalty be for that violation? So that's what a contempt hearing is for.
Okay. Oh, this is so stressful.
Ma'am, you do not have to tell me one way or the other today. You can wait until you have the benefit of counsel from the assistant prosecutor, and we'll just figure this out on another date, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Peter, would you hand me the form for a court-appointed attorney in a PPO matter, please? I think what may have happened, Mr. Brown, is that the sheriff's office may have dropped the ball on getting you to fill out that form, or if they did get you to fill it out, they never sent it over to me, so we weren't able to get an attorney appointed in time for that hearing. So I need to get some information from you. What's your full name, sir?
Corey Brown.
Your middle name is Andrew?
Yep.
What's your date of birth?
10/6/84.
You live at 209 South Harrington Road in Parma?
Yep.
Your phone number?
517-257-9427.
Where are you employed?
I'm not.
How long have you been unemployed?
I don't know, 6 months now.
Do you receive any sort of income, unemployment, or any other source of income?
0.
Do you own a vehicle?
Yep, I do.
What is the make and model and year?
It's a 99 Jeep Cherokee, 2-door, white.
Do you make payments on that?
No, it's been paid off for 8-10 years.
Do you have any dependents who live with you?
Well, that's kind of the whole point of this matter, so obviously no.
You do have
Not to be rude to
dependents.
you.
You do
But-
have dependents, but none of them live with you?
I have 2 daughters I don't get to see. No, they don't live with me. I don't get to claim
All right,
my
and
taxes.
what are their ages?
I don't know.
10 and 6.
And Mr. Brown, you're currently single?
Yep.
Do you own or rent?
Neither.
You obviously live somewhere. Who do you live with?
With my mom and dad.
All right, and can you confirm under penalties of perjury that all of the information that you just gave me is accurate?
To my knowledge, yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm filling out this form for you so we can get an attorney appointed.
What do you really need an attorney for here? I mean, can't we just figure this out right here, right now? Is it really that difficult?
Ms. Brown isn't in a position to do that today, and I'm not going to force her to do that. When she has the benefit of assistance of counsel, then we will have conversation about that. All right, so I'm gonna set this over for 2 weeks to make sure that we don't unnecessarily drag people here. We'll set it for let's see, January 14th at 10:30.
Alrighty, sounds good.
And when we come back, each of you will have counsel that can advise you about how we're going to proceed in this matter. Okay?
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. I think this goes to Christine. You might want to ask her about that. And I want to make sure that notices go out. I don't know who takes care of that.
Okay.
I just want to make sure it happens.
Yep.
Okay, this is a matter of White versus White. Mr. Justin White is present.
Yes, sir.
And I believe Ms. Bethany White is also present. Can you hear me, ma'am? All right, I've got a screen that's got her name on it, but apparently we don't have a good connection yet. Let's see what happens here. Ms. White, can you hear me? If you're trying to speak, we cannot hear you. Check your settings. Ms. White? Ma'am, you've got your microphone muted right now. Well, we're having some difficulty. I'm not quite sure what the problem is. Let me see if I can find a phone number. We'll try that.
Can you hear me okay, Mr. LaFlamme?
Yes, sir. We can hear you
Okay.
just fine.
All right, just make sure.
All right, I'm going, Ms. White, if you can hear me, I'm going to try to dial your phone number that's listed on some of the paperwork here. Please answer that call.
Oh, that's my number.
I think you're calling it.
I dialed the number.
Hello, you reached the voicemail of Justin.
Okay.
Yeah,
Looks like
yeah, that was my
looks
number,
like
Your Honor.
All right, let me try again. I'm not sure what number I dialed, but this is the one that's listed with her name.
Hello?
Hers is 1, 2.
Is this Bethany White?
Yes, it is.
Apparently, we're having trouble with the Zoom hearing, but you can participate by phone. That'll work fine.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry about that.
No problem. So we're here today on Ms. White's motion for an order to show cause as to why you should not be held in contempt of court, Mr. White, for violating a personal protection order. First of all, I want to make sure you did receive a copy of her affidavit in motion that sets forth what she contends that you did to violate the PPO. Did you receive that?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, before we go any further, I do need to advise you of your rights. And give me just a moment to make sure I get it right. You have the right to contest this charge at a contempt hearing. You are entitled to the assistance of an attorney, either one of your choosing or one appointed for you by the court if you cannot afford your own attorney. Do you wish to have the court appoint someone to represent you? You want me to appoint an attorney for you, Mr. White?
No, sir. I had that attorney last time, and he might have steered me wrong a little bit, it looks like. So I just let him go, and I just rather deal with you, honestly.
All right, well, hold on. I also need to advise you that you could face up to 93 days in jail and could be fined up to $500 if you are found guilty of contempt. And that's the mechanism we use to enforce personal protection orders, is the contempt power of the court.
Okay. So I have to decide right now. Do I have to decide right now if I'd like the assistance of an attorney going forward? Is that what you're asking, sir?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
If you don't want an attorney, we'll just go forward today and I'll deal with it today. If you want an attorney.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine. Let's do it today. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. And let me ask you, do you indeed contest this charge?
Yes, I do not. Yes, I wrote out a little 2-page thing explaining it. And yes, I definitely detest it or whatever that means. Yes, sir.
Well, hold on a second. So, Ms. White, I need to put you under oath. Would you raise your right hand, please?
Raised.
You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
I'll state your full name.
Bethany White.
So, Ms. White, you filed an affidavit in motion seeking to hold Mr. White in contempt of court for violating a personal protection order. Can you tell me what it is? And I realize you've written this down already, but I need to take testimony on the issue. tell me what it is that Mr. White did that you believe is in violation of the personal protection order.
Okay. He placed some mail that he'd taken from the mailbox. He put it back in the mailbox and had a bunch of notes and things written all over the mail. And then the second violation was the next day, where he came by very early in the morning before we were even awake and left a bunch of mail and things and put it inside my van on the steering wheel. And those were like cards and letters.
The day that he placed the mail in the mailbox with notes on it, what date was that?
I'm not positive. I can look at my phone real quick. It was in November.
Your affidavit says November 7th.
Okay, yes. I do have the exact date, so that's right.
So that's correct. And you said it was the next day, so that would have been November 8th that he left mail in your van. And again, additional information in addition to just the mail.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm reading your affidavit.
Okay.
What specifically did he write on the envelopes that he put back in the mailbox on November 7th?
It was a lot of things. I think I sent the pictures to you, at least of those. It was more just like love notes, love letter type things to try.
All right, I'm sorry, I didn't see that initially. I see it now.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm seeing a envelope addressed to you from Jackson County DHS that says, miss you, I love you, call me home, open your window / door, and then a heart.
Yeah, and there was about 4 other envelopes.
Right, and did you recognize his writing on those envelopes?
Yes.
All right, and then the next one, let's see, it's a note, a handwritten note written on letterhead of Richard's Building Supply Company. Are you familiar with that business?
Me?
Yes.
No, I'm not.
All right. I'm seeing Justin loves Beth Faith and always is committed to holding her in the highest regard. Justin sees Beth a perfect piece of good. Justin is thankful for every expression of Beth. And then it goes on. And then on the other side, it says, it might have been the reverse side, I'm not sure. I love you with my heart, written multiple times. And at the end, a forever with a heart sign next to it. The next is a note written on, looks like some kind of brown colored stationery in red ink.
Yeah.
Why am I still writing? Because something inside the little boy part hopes that you see this someday in this lifetime, and it brings joy and love to your heart. Love, Justin Michael White. A P.S. Maybe if nobody knows, we can meet and just hold each other for a bit. A little more written. And then another one. Okay, I'm sorry that I was starting to get mushy. And you recognize all of this as being Mr. White's handwriting.
Yes.
All right. Were there any questions you wanted me to ask her, Mr. White?
No, sir, I don't think so, sir.
All right, so let me hear from you. Would you raise your right hand, please? You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
And state your full name.
Justin Michael White.
Mr. White, do you deny writing on these envelopes and placing them either in the mailbox or in her vehicle?
I do. Can I give an explanation, sir?
And do you deny writing these letters that
No, I did write.
bear your name?
I did write the letters. Absolutely, sir. Those yeah, I did write the letters.
Okay.
Those are my handwriting.
So how do you explain this envelope that she found in her mailbox that says, I miss you, I love you, I love you, has a heart with an arrow through it written around her name, call me home, open your window / door. You deny writing those?
I did write those, sir. Yes, sir. Those are my handwriting.
Okay. And the other letters, I didn't read them in their entirety, but you recognize each of those letters as letters that you either placed in her mailbox or placed on her van?
I did not place them in the mailbox or on her van. If I could give a little explanation, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay. In hindsight, I do realize that sending any kind of correspondence to Bethany was not wise. And I did want to apologize about this situation. However, in my defense, when the representative from your officer originally dropped off the PPO, I was in a lot of shock. I was raking the leaves and blowing up balloons and repainting the kids' rooms. And he sat me down in the house. He was a super nice guy. He had cowboy boots on and white hair, and he sat me down and he read through the PPO with me because I've never experienced anything like this. And he explained to me that I couldn't have no contact with my family after he dropped that off to me. He tried to drop it off the day before, but I wasn't there. But as of the next day, he would check up on me and I would have to be moved out. He said that I was kind of in disbelief that was the case. I was expecting the family to come home at any day. They had already been gone for 3 weeks, and I had I had not gone over the houses they were at or anything and just dropped them off notes. So he said, after looking over it with me, your representative, that it looked like I could send written correspondence to the family, but I could have no contact whatsoever, but just writing notes. He told me to get a lawyer the next day because I needed to move out the rest of that evening. That was at 5 o'clock. He said, tomorrow after you get moved out, I'll give you to the end of the day. You're supposed to be moved out by the morning, but I understand your situation. I know your whole family. I know you're a good guy. You're in shock. So I will give you till the afternoon to move out tomorrow. And when I come, you got to be gone. And I won't, you got to be gone. So just try to work with me, but you can contact them via mail, but you cannot make any contact. If you see them in town, you got to walk the other way. So you need to go get a lawyer and figure this thing out on your end, but you got to be out tomorrow. So I did that. I got out of the house. My dad has been the one who's been dropping mail off back and forth. In our first hearing, we all agreed together that my dad would be the liaison because he's her pastor and he is very close to all the things and he's a respected individual. So he was going to be the one that Bethany could set up time where I could see the kids and he would drop off any mail and be kind of the contact person between us. And we all approved that. So during this time, my dad has been dropping off lots of different stuff back and forth. I have only communicated with letters, cards, and some just letters and cards and notes. And I've spent a lot of time doing a lot of paintings. I spent over 40 hours doing paintings for my children, and my mom laminated them all. So my dad's been dropping that stuff off the whole time back and forth. Whenever Beth has needed anything, she's needed at least a half a dozen times, Your Honor. She's needed stuff for DHS, paperwork, birth certificates. She's contacted my dad at least a half a dozen times on the low end needing stuff. And every time she's needed anything, my dad's let me know. I've gotten it together within a couple hours. I've even missed a couple appointments, and I've gotten that stuff together, gotten it right over to her the same day every time. So he's been that liaison going back and forth. Now, my friend, I was working with my friend, and I did have some mail one day, and I gave him a whole packet of my mail, and he was going to drop that off in the mailbox. So that he did that on 11/6. So that's the only awareness that I have of anyone under my awareness dropping anything off at the property or being on the property, but my dad and my one friend, and I have never been on the property. So he dropped off the mail on 11/6. He said, I called and talked to him after getting this, and he said that he dropped it off in the mailbox like I asked, but some of the mail had fallen down in his car. And the next day he did drop off some more mail in her van in the evening. So that would have been on 11/7, I believe. He dropped off more mail in her van in the evening. Now, these were the only letters, Your Honor, that I have ever written to Beth and dropped off, and they were not dropped off by me. They were dropped off on 11/6 and 11/7. I gave them to that. The only other person that I know of is my buddy, and I gave him a packet when we were working earlier in the day at an appointment on 11/6. Our first hearing with you for the PPO, because that guy told me to get a lawyer. I got a lawyer, paid $2,500. He was horrible. And he told me I could write written communication. He said I could write 100 letters if I wanted to. That's all I can do. So our first hearing was on 11/12. That was my son's birthday. These two letters, the only correspondence that I have written were written in between the time that I had the PPO issued on the 26th and the 12th when we met with you. So I only wrote letters to Bethany before we had our court hearing with you. And she filed this paperwork of these letters before we had our first court hearing with each other the last time. So these were filed on the 9th with your office. We had our court hearing on the 12th.
Mr. White?
Yes, sir.
Mr. White?
Yes, sir.
Let me pause you for just a minute.
Yes, sir.
So Ms. White, do you acknowledge that the only time you've received letters of this nature from Mr. White are the occasions that are addressed in your motion?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, let me do this. Mr. White's explanation, coupled with my review of the PPO, is I don't believe there's been a clear violation of the PPO. The PPO does not prohibit sending mail or other communications. It does prohibit harassment by text, mail, email, or social media. Sending her love notes and love letters at a time when she doesn't want to hear those things from you, and you know now she doesn't want to hear those things.
Yes, sir.
I would consider to be harassing, particularly now that you've been informed of that. But merely sending the mail itself was not a violation. I'm making clear today, sir, that since you know she doesn't want to receive those kinds of communications from you, if you were to continue to do that, I would consider that to be harassing and could very well subject you to a violation. I don't believe there's been a clear violation established. And ma'am, I believe everything you said about what you received. But under the strict language of the PPO, I do not believe that there is a violation today. If there's any further, I would not hesitate to find a violation. So as of now, I'm dismissing the show causes. Ma'am, was there anything you wanted to say?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I would say the only thing about that is I do have 2 texts from his dad that his dad sent me that were from Justin, and Justin had said he put them in the van and he did the mail. There's another text saying, I'll come by and pick up mail from the mailbox if she puts it in there. So I do have an actual text where he does tell his dad in his words, I came and put this in Beth's car early this morning.
All right.
And I did send that to his dad.
I appreciate that, ma'am, but I do not have that in front of me today. I can only rule based on what's in front of me today. I am simply going to give Mr. White a very strong warning. Don't go on the property. Don't do anything to violate the PPO, and do not send any more love letters or anything else that would be considered harassing. But I am going to dismiss the show cause today.
Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It has been 11 weeks since I've seen my children. You did recommend that she could talk to my father and set up a mutual place at his residence for me to see the kids. I did not get to spend Thanksgiving or Christmas. And just for recollection, I said that all of the accusations when she placed the PPO were false, all of them. So there is no
All right,
proof.
let me stop you again.
Yes,
okay, Mr. White.
Yes, sir.
This PPO does not stop you from seeing your children.
Okay.
It does not. It only prohibits you from threatening to kill or injure them, or actually injuring them.
So how do we set up a time?
Wait, let me finish. Let me finish. The prohibitions as to all the other things, following, appearing, sending mail, interfering with efforts, all of that, those all are simply directed to Ms. White. If you're not seeing your children, I can't deal with that in a PPO case. What you need to do is initiate a custody parenting time complaint in the court system to obtain visitation rights for your children. That's the only thing you can do. I'll explain to you like I am now about how this order impacts parenting time, but it does not dictate parenting time. Parenting time has to be handled.
I tried to contact the friend of the court and see what I could do, because it's been 11 weeks and I did see my kids. The friend
of the court can do nothing for you until there is an open custody case in our county. You have to initiate a custody case before the friend of the court can do anything.
Okay, sir.
Before I can do anything, you have to initiate a custody case.
Do you mind so can I just do, and I can pursue that with your courthouse later today?
What I would suggest to you, you have internet access?
Yes, sir.
Go to the website www.michiganlegalhelp.org.
Okay.
That provides lay people with information on how to initiate court actions and provides you with guidance for how to do that. I can't give you legal advice. No one in the courthouse can give you legal advice. All we can tell you is there's nothing we can do without there being an open custody case.
Okay. And that, because they mentioned if there was a PPO open, they couldn't open up a custody case, because I have worked pretty diligently to try to do this. I also have purchased another rental.
Mr. White, that is not true. The fact there's a PPO does not prohibit you from initiating a custody case.
Awesome.
Does not prohibit you from requesting specific parenting time and or custody of your children.
Okay, great.
The PPO is not for that purpose.
Okay. All right, sir. So what do I need to move? Is there any way to get a motion that I can see my kids on it? Because she did let me see the kids this week for one time for 2 hours, and it was the best time of all of our lives, but it was only for 2 hours. And so it's the first time in 11 weeks we've seen each other. Is there any way to get a court thing that I could see them on a regular basis, or 50-50 or something?
Go to the website, file a custody case, and then your requests can be addressed.
All right, sir, I will do that.
All right, that concludes our hearing. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Next up is the matter of Ayers versus, McJames. Mr. White, you represent Ms. Ayers?
I do, Your Honor. She's here with me.
Okay, and then Ms. McJames is also present for the hearing. Give me
Yes, Your
just a moment. I got to write myself a note so I don't forget something. Okay, we're here on Ms. Ayers' petition to enter a personal protection order. So, Mr. White, I assume you're prepared to present testimony this morning?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Ayers, can you turn the camera over to her?
Good morning.
Good morning. Would you raise your right hand, please? You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
State your full name for the record.
Kelly Annette Ayers.
Go ahead, Mr. White.
Thank you, Your Honor. Kelly, where do you reside?
I live at 6449 Meadowlark Drive.
And how do you know the respondent, Jasmine McJames?
She is the girlfriend of my ex-husband.
Have there been some recent change of custody actions that have been filed in the case between you and your ex-husband that have involved Miss McJames?
Yes.
What was her involvement in the issues with custody between you and your ex-husband?
Multiple Facebook messages that are extremely inappropriate and vulgar.
Are these the messages that we attached to your petition?
Yes.
Were any of these communications wanted, or was this part of like an ongoing conversation with Ms. McJames?
They were not wanted. I did not want them. I do not respond to them.
Did she take some other actions regarding Child Protective Services against you?
She called Child Protective Services against my husband.
And what allegations did she make?
That he was molesting my daughter.
That he was sexually molesting your child?
That is correct.
And CPS has investigated that and found that Ms. McJames has filed a false report. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Did Ms. McJames also contact your employer?
Yes. Stating that
Who do you work for?
I work for Howard Hanna as a realtor.
Okay. And when did Ms. McJames contact your employer?
Well, it was the same day she contacted CPS.
And did she make some type of complaint regarding your behavior?
No, just that she was a cash buyer and that I was acting as a racist.
So she made an allegation to your boss that you're a racist?
Yes.
Did Ms. McJames hold herself out as white or black?
Black.
How did you handle this complaint made by Ms. James against that you made some type of racist information or racist statements to her?
I had to sit down with my boss and speak to her about it.
Were you involved in selling Ms. McJames any type of real estate at all?
No.
Do you have any idea why she would call and fake that she's a person of color and make a racial bias complaint against you?
I have no idea why.
Is there any, how do all these different contacts from the fake, from the false CPS report about sexual abuse to the made up complaint to your employer, the email method or the Facebook messages, how do these all make you feel?
Terrified. What else can she do? She knows where I live.
Is she still involved with your former husband?
As far as I know, she is.
If you had discussions with your former husband about keeping Jasmine from contacting you?
I did. He actually said I should get a PPO against her.
And that's what you're asking the court to do, is get a PPO that stops any contact. Is there any reason that you should have any contact with this person, Ms. McJames, at all?
No, none.
Thank you. That's all I have for now, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. McJames, were there any questions you wanted to ask Ms. Ayers?
Not specifically to her, more just pertaining to the case with you and evidence that's been presented.
All right, let me put you under oath then.
Sure.
Raise your right hand, please. You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please state your full name for the record.
My name's Jasmine Jade McJames.
So McJames, do you acknowledge that you are either the current or former girlfriend of Ms. Ayers' ex-husband?
Yes. Mitchell Silvius is my ex-boyfriend at this time due to a lot caused by a very messy custody battle.
All right, so the two of you are no longer together?
Not at this time, Your Honor, no.
All right, so there were a number of text messages that were attached to the petition. Do you acknowledge that you're the one who's sending these text messages to Ms. Ayers?
Yes, Your Honor. I have the copy of the PPO in front of me, and I do agree that all of that was sent between her and I.
All right. And what more did you want to tell me?
I guess to start, I work in nursing and I'm a state mandated reporter. So I will own 100% that I did contact CPS based on my experience with abuse. There were some things living with Kimberly that I was very concerned with. So I do want to openly admit that I did call CPS under concern for the child's well-being and her safety. I'm a state mandated reporter. If I saw signs of abuse and neglect and I didn't report it and something were to be happening, then that could come back on me potentially. In addition to that, it's not my job to dictate whether or not it's a false accusation or not. I was concerned for Kimberly and I acted as what the state of Michigan has directed me to do when I see signs of abuse or potential neglect. So I do want to just put that out as a state mandated reporter.
So who's Kimberly?
Kimberly Silvius is Mitchell Silvius and Kelly Ayers' daughter.
How old is she?
She's 8 years old.
And who did you suspect of some kind of child abuse or neglect?
I suspected Andrew Ayers, Kelly Ayers' husband, based on certain signs and just signals that I had been seeing, heavy gifting, buying a lot of presents, forcing Kim to call him daddy, things like that.
I don't want to go any further into that because it really doesn't bear on the PPO. I just wanted to know who it was that you suspected.
Sure.
So I understand that filing a complaint with CPS is not something that I would consider as a basis for issuing a PPO. I wouldn't issue a PPO to stop people from filing reports with CPS. That's beyond the scope of what I would do. But these text communications, and since you acknowledge that you've made them, they clearly rise to the level of harassing in nature. You really have no reason to be communicating with Ms. Ayers. These were sent on more than one occasion, so that creates the 2 instances that is required for the court to issue a non-domestic PPO. I believe a factual basis has been established for me to do that. I will issue a PPO prohibiting you from.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm slightly confused because she has contacted me in regards to this as well. She's responded as well as given personal information in the form of her email. The PPO was never an issue until I refused to give her court evidence against her ex-husband for FOC. So I have proof, and it's been sent to you as well, that I have her saying, can you send me the file of recording? And then as well, including her email. When I no longer responded to her and sent her the information that she was requesting to incriminate her ex-husband, that's when this PPO came out and established. I work in nursing. I am technically not allowed to have a PPO. I have nothing to do with this case anymore, nor do I have any contact with her ex-husband. So I'm not quite sure what merits a PPO when there is proof in here that she has contacted me as well as given additional personal information to contact her. The only form of communication we have had this entire time is via Facebook and my cell phone, which she has called multiple times herself. So I'm not quite sure why that would mean harassment when she's asking me to contact her.
Ma'am, these communications are harassing in nature. There's more than one of them. That's sufficient for me to issue a PPO. I'm going to issue a PPO. Mr. White, if you could prepare and submit one to the court.
Sure, you'll issue
you
issued a no contact order in FOC as well. So you go right ahead and issue that PPO, Your Honor, but you don't have any idea what's going on with this case besides a bitter baby mama. That's all you have right now. So it's very unfortunate. Won't even listen to my side of the story, but you've been listening.
Ma'am, I listened to enough to make a decision. Mr. White, the PPO should prohibit all forms of harassment that are listed. You can check every box. You can also check the box for posting a message through the use of any medium of communication. This PPO will remain in effect until 12/31 of 21. We provide that the clerk will file a copy with the Jackson Police Department and the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. As soon as I receive that, I will sign it.
Thank you, Ron. I'll submit that electronically.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah. Happy New Year.